Oh, we are back. We're back. Week 1 in the books. Man, it was a fun week. It was a fun week. Now, granted, there were some not fun things that happened, but overall, it was so good to have football back in our lives, getting to see all the games, all the players, all the rookies, everything that we've been talking about all offseason. We get to find out if we're right or not. And there were a lot of things we were right about, and there were plenty of things that we were wrong about. But it's also only 1 week. So there's plenty of things that could still update, change, adjust, all of that good stuff for me. My guy Danger saying, let's do this. That's right. Let's do it. Let's make it happen right now. CMC sitting again. It's looking like it, my man. It's looking like it. That's tough. Speaking of CMC, Josh thinks he's slick. He's gonna think I'm not gonna remember who it is, and I'm just gonna randomly say a side of the trade and try to pick his. No, sir. No, sir. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. He is trying to offer me CMC, Higgins, and Charbonnet, and I said, no, sir. I'm trying to win this year. I got Taylor, Cup, and Godwin. Can't win right now with CMC. Higgins, I don't know what's going on. Charbonnet is just Charbonnet. So, gotta go with Taylor, Cup, and Godwin. Don't try to trick me on my own show. Trick me on my own show. Jordan said, let's eat some lunch. I just had to hurry up. Get myself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich like I'm an 8-year-old. That's exactly what I just ate. Two peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but on whole grain because I'm mature. And a Mountain Dew. Sedated Fork says, we got Andrew saying Taylor, Cup, and Godwin for me. Sedated Fork's laughing at this for sure. Sedated Fork says, dreaded redraft question. I have CMC. Would you trade Hollywood Brown for Jordan Mason or just ride with Hollywood this season? I think Hollywood could have a good season. I do. I think he's going to have some big games. That being said, it's going to be hard to know when to start him. There's so many pieces to this offense now. It's going to be really, really difficult to know when you're going to play him. You're going to know when to play Jordan Mason. Is CMC out? You play him. So, honestly, I think it's Jordan Mason. I really do. If you have CMC, I think it's Jordan Mason for me. Matt's ready to go. Other Matt's ready to go. Matt B, Matt M. Jordan saying Tyjae Spears buy window or no? This is a great question. Let me get back to this in just a second because my guy Dennis Bennett's here saying, what's up, Dennis? How you doing, buddy? Tristan's here saying whole grain because you're a scholar. Mountain Dew because you're a football guy. Look, that's accurate. There's a lot of truth being told right now. Tristan gets it. So let's go back to Jordan here real quick. Tyjae Spears buy window or no? With Tyjae Spears, we know that I'm obviously a very big fan of Tyjae. I think he's an incredibly talented running back. But I think what we saw in week 1 was very telling. Because look, I got to keep it 100. Like, as much as I think Tyjae Spears is electric and the more dynamic player, they prefer Pollard. Like, Pollard is going to be getting more touches than we're going to be getting from Tyjae Spears. And that sucks. It sucks a lot, honestly. But so your question is buy window. It depends on the price. Like, would I give a second for Tyjae Spears? Yeah, I would give a second for Tyjae Spears. I don't know that it would get it done. I'm not sure. Oh, Jordan saying my mic's cutting out. You guys hearing that too? Is my mic cutting out? Or is that just a random thing? Hopefully not, because I have no idea why it would be cutting out right now. We did have some issues with StreamYard and Rich, but we think we diagnosed what that was and fixed it. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Okay. All right. Tristan saying no issues so far. So maybe Maybe Jordan, maybe something with your speakers or something there. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, going back to Titus Spears, I don't know if a second's going to get it done. If it does, I'm still more than willing to bet on the talent, bet on the ability, know that there's going to be some big games there, especially with what he can do in the receiving game. But he went from a guy that I thought could potentially be an RB2 back into that flex play, which is disappointing. Andrew said, I need to start 2 for flex PPR between Waddle, DJ Moore, Derrick Henry, Brian Robinson, Jordan Mason, and Aaron Jones. So at this point, I mean, Jordan Mason seems like a must start. So absolutely for Jordan Mason. Then it gets a little bit trickier. So we've got Waddle going tonight against Buffalo. Should be a good game. DJ Moore, we know Rome Odunze is out. Derrick Henry, that line looked a little rough. But Aaron Jones had a big week this past week. Right now, I need to look a little closer into the matchups, but I would lean Waddle and Mason. But that is without me digging deep into the matchups just yet. I haven't quite gotten that far in my analysis. But I would lean toward Waddle and Mason for me. Unk saying JSN for a 26 first. I do think this is a buy window for JSN. And yes, I would do it. Unfortunately, it's still going to be a frustrating group this year. Tyler Lockett's still going to be in the way. But 2025 should be really good. Should be really good in 2025. Can you wait that long? As long as you can wait that long, then yes, I would absolutely be buying JSN. But that you've got to have patience in order for that to pay out. So, look, 26 is so far away. So far away. It's not even this coming off season. It's this off season after. I can recoup that. I can recover that easily moving forward. Would you try to move Kyron for Marv in a 3 wide receiver league? Drew, I love where you're at, my man. Absolutely. If somebody is panicking on Marv and all I have to do is give up Kyron Williams, holy smokes, I feel like I hit the lottery. I am making that move 100 times out of 100. 100 times out of 100. I would love to make that move. And look, Kyron looked good. Kyron got work. Kyron is still going to be a very solid and steady running back. But the narrative around Marvin Harrison Jr. and where he's at right now is hilariously bad. And it's, in my opinion, not even close to being accurate. So, yes, absolutely make that move. Shane said, I'm sure the Miami backfield is going to be a topic this week. Mostert out, Achane questionable. Wright was inactive last week, so didn't get a chance to look at him. Do you think this is a chance to trust Wright? My guess is not this week. Report came out today that it's looking likely that Achane does end up playing. You never know what could happen last minute. Obviously, something to keep an eye on in case something happens in warmups and he's just not able to go. Then I would have no problem starting Wright. But if it's just Mostert out, it's probably going to be mostly Achane and then Jeff Wilson. So I don't think you're going to get much of an opportunity to really see Jalen Wright if that's the case. He'll probably be active. Now, if Achane is out, I'm absolutely firing him up as probably a top 20 back. Like, that's probably the route that I would look to go. Who could I get trading away Dobbins? If you listen to the show, I am not actively looking to trade Dobbins. I know that is kind of the narrative out there. I understand it. I'm going contrarian on this. I'm not looking to trade him, assuming I'm a contender. If I'm in rebuild, absolutely trade him away. Absolutely. But if I'm a contender, I'm not looking to move him. In fact, I might even be looking to acquire J.K. Dobbins, depending on the price, because the price tag I'm seeing often is a second. And the role that he's going to have in this offense, we didn't even get to see him do receiving work. He had some targets, but nothing big in the receiving game. Let's remember what Austin Eckler did for years with Justin Herbert in this offense. Let's remember all the comments Greg Roman said about how they want to use him in the receiving game. Like, Dobbins is a very good player. He's only going to get healthier. And like, I don't think what we saw was a fluke at all. If anything, he should have had more yards and more big plays. Like, I don't think this is a fluke at all. So for me, I'm buying him if I am a contender. Now, if you're in rebuild, I think this is a situation where I will give you Dobbins in my second and you give me your first. Like, that's the move I would be looking to make in rebuild. I want to get into that first round. Jordan says 12 by 10 Superflex contender. Do I try and tier up at wide receiver? Current room is Waddle, T, London, Evans, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Pittman. Chase owner might accept Evans plus London. If he's willing to accept that, I'm willing to upgrade to Chase. I would be. But otherwise, like, I'm sitting pat. There's a lot of good names there, a lot of good players. Unfortunately, it was a lot of players other than Evans that did not have good weeks. And so you're a little worried about that part of it. But like, they're going to produce. There's a lot of good players there that are going to produce. Ronnie says, I traded Gibbs for Marv after week 1, then sadly flipped Pittman for ETN, but I got Marv, LOL. Yeah, I would still take Marv over Gibbs. It's close. I think both are very talented players, but I would take Marv there. Pittman for ETN, like, it's still not the end of the world. I do think obviously Tank Bigsby is going to be heavily involved. We saw that week 1. He was the more efficient running back. It's not that I think Tank is going to take over. I don't. But I do believe that it's going to be a legitimate timeshare, and it's going to be really annoying week to week. There'll be weeks where ETN still has some big games, but there'll be more bust weeks than we've seen out of him. And he's already been a little bit inconsistent. So yeah, that one is a little bit unfortunate. Sedated Fork saying, by the way, I like the new format with more podcasts. I appreciate it, man. We have been trying really, really hard to get out more and more and more and more content. Just recorded the Nerd Herd episode right before this with Rich. Went over some buys. Right after this, around 2:00, I'm going to be recording with my boy J-Wack. We've got another Talking Dynasty coming out. Another Talking Dynasty. And Austin, you're going to like this because it's going to be a mock draft of the 2025 class. That's what we're doing. So there are lots and lots to talk about with this class. So I'm not going to spill the beans, but the general thoughts, yes, I very much so like the wide receivers and the running backs in this class. I think there's some good high-end receivers and a lot of talented running backs in this class. Quarterback is still very much so up in the air for me, though. Very much so up in the air. Beck and Shador look okay. They don't look amazing, but they look okay. So we're going to have to see how this goes. Hey, Moss, I was offered Marvin Harrison Jr. for Pittman straight up. Woo! Take it to the bank, my man. Take it to the bank. Man. Wow. That is an offer. That is an offer. That is somebody that is looking very short side. Assuming this is Dynasty, we're talking not redraft. If it's redraft, then I can understand it. I think it's a very fair trade. But in Dynasty, oh man. And this is coming from somebody that really likes Michael Pittman Jr. Like, I do. I think Michael Pittman Jr. is a very talented wide receiver, very underrated in the fantasy community. My man saying, what's redraft? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we're not worried about that. We're doing Dynasty, baby. Doing Dynasty. All right. JMO value. God is good. Absolutely. All the time, baby. his value right now, probably early second, probably roughly an early second, give or take. Well, let's put it to you guys. All right. If you had Jameson Williams, no, let's do it the opposite way. If you're looking to acquire Jameson Williams, what would be the high mark of what you would be willing to pay for Jameson Williams? My guess is it's going to be an early second. I could be wrong. Some people might be willing to give first. But yeah, I'm curious to see, what would you be willing to give right now today for Jameson Williams? James asking, is Wright droppable in redraft then? 10 team, 16 total player, bench, and starters. If you need the bench spot with that small of a team, I get it. I think that the value that he could give if somebody is out long term, because he's then going to get more and more opportunities. I would try to hold him if I can, because I would hate to have had him early on in the season, drop him, and then we get some significant injuries, and we know that he would probably be a top 24 back if there's some legitimate injuries. Tristan saying he thinks this is going to be a very good class. And if you guys are not familiar, Tristan is our like college prospect guy, our Devi guy, our C2C guy. Like, he is paying very close attention to the college game. Unfortunately, he's a Colorado Buffs fan. So, I mean, like, take that for what it's worth. But no, Tristan's a great dude. One of my good friends in the industry, and he does a great job for us. So if he says it's going to be a very good class, that's definitely somebody that I would trust. Austin Baker, good week or dynasty steal? That's a good question, Austin. Is there a third option? Because I think it's somewhere in between. Like, I don't think we expect him to be this good most of the year. I don't think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback on the season or anything like that. But could he put up another low-end quarterback one season? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think 16 to 17 points per game for the season is very realistic. So, yeah, I would have no problem with that. So, I don't know if that's saying he's a steal or not, but that's kind of where my projections would be for him moving forward. Max saying he would give a early second for JMO. Odunze for JMO straight up just happened in my league. Whoa. Somebody's panicking on the injury. Mid-second for Unkindness. Sedated Fork, early second. Early second for Rodney as well. I need to see a little bit more production. Jordan saying 26 first if I really wanted him. I could see that. The high end. We're saying, wait, Andrew, are you offering Rome in a second for JMO? We'll see. We'll see. Andrew saying, I'm not acquiring him right now. I think Amon-Ra bounces back. Anyone trying to sell him is selling him at his ceiling price. His ceiling price tag. Yep. Totally. I think that's where I'm at too. Like, I wouldn't be buying him now. This is a really tough time to buy a player like that. Now, there's a chance that you miss out. And if you do, you do. But the career arc for players that don't hit 500 yards in their rookie season is pretty not exciting. Pretty not exciting overall. So I would say don't buy right now, personally. All right. I think I am all caught up on comments and stuff like that. So here's what I want to do. If you were with me last week, I tried this and I actually really liked how it turned out. I'm going to do it slightly different. I don't think I want the mass group all at once, but I'm going to take an opportunity here to talk with you about your burning questions. So if there's something that you want to discuss, you want thoughts on, whatever. I'm actually going to put the link to join me and we can talk right now. So I'm going to post it there. Now, I'm not going to be bringing up multiple people at once, but StreamYard, what I use, has the capability to allow multiple people in, but me only bring one at a time up to the stage. So I'm going to put this, I'm putting it in there right now. Paste, enter. All right, cool. So if you would like to join me and you want to ask a question and we could talk through some things, this is your opportunity to do it. Because we did this last week, just kind of seeing how everybody felt about the season and bringing people in. And I don't know how about you guys, but I had a blast doing that. I thought it was really fun to get to see what everybody's doing. So feel free to hop on out. And if nobody wants to, that's fine. It can be a little scary. You don't have to show your picture. You could just do the phone with no picture. That's fine as well. So appreciate it. Jordan said, I had a lot of fun on the show with you last week. Someone else's turn. Don't be shy. Look, see, Jordan knows. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. But as we see, if anybody wants to come up, and no pressure, but lots of pressure. I do want to talk real quickly, or not real quickly. I want to talk about this rookie class a little bit. We touched on this some on the Dynasty Nerds show. And week 1 for rookies is always really interesting because on one hand, you've got to be wise in how you react to it. You don't want to overreact, make a knee-jerk decision, say he's amazing, he's terrible, whatever. But on the flip side, like you need to notice trends too, so you can be not late to the game. So it's really tricky. So we'll get into specific guys here in a second. But my guy Mac is here. Mac, how's it going, man?
How we doing, Garrett?
I'm doing good, buddy. Here, I'm gonna put my headphones on just in case. I don't know if it's gonna come through or not. So I'm gonna put my headphones on. All right, here we go. Whoop. All right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
All right, perfect. I can hear you well. All right. Hit me up, man. What do you got?
All right, so I actually was just talking about this with some people in the trade talk Discord channel. So shout out to the Discord channel.
Thank you.
Shameless plug.
Absolutely.
So essentially, I'm in a bit of a more than a bit of a contender mode right now. I've got pretty much a pretty stacked team, but we play in an Empire League. So half the yearly dues gets paid out to that year's champion. Half of it gets put into a rolling pot. No one has won 2 years in a row, and if you win 2 years in a row, you get the rolling pot and the whole pot, everything, right? So
yeah,
no one's won that. We're climbing towards 3K at this point, and I guess my question is, I have an offer out to someone right now to trade for Josh Allen to try and get top 3 quarterback. It feels like the last piece of the team to really sort of like the last piece to really compete for and be a really strong contender for the next 2-3 years to try and go for that repeat win to win the whole pot. What are your thoughts on giving up draft picks and maybe overpaying for somebody like Allen to try and complete that and get that that double win?
Yeah, so you won the ship last year, right?
I did not win the ship last year, so I'd have to win 2 years in a row.
Okay. So Josh Allen, obviously crazy expensive piece. What's the price tag on it?
The current deal that I have out, I actually think the guy that I sent the deal to just sent me the link to this live stream, so that's going to be fun. The deal I have out on the table right now is Josh Allen and Brian Thomas. I would be getting those two.
Okay.
For TJ Hawkinson, Dak Prescott, Jalen Warren, and a 26 first and a 25 second.
Okay. All right.
So
So Brian Thomas Jr. and Josh Allen, and then he would be getting Dak, TJ, Warren, 26 first and second.
yes. Sorry,
Okay.
25 second, 26 first.
Okay. All right. I don't think that's a terrible deal. But it's definitely like the Allen side definitely wins that deal. I think if you were to remove Brian Thomas Jr., that makes it a lot closer overall.
Mhm.
But I think it's a good like starting offer to see like if he's interested in moving off Allen, because you don't usually like you don't want to give an insulting offer, but you want to give a good offer to like get the ball rolling and see where you can meet in the middle. I think that's a good like starting offer. But my guess is he's gonna, especially if he more of a rebuild team.
He's on his way to becoming that. I think he can compete a bit this year, but I think in the next 2 years, maybe he starts that rebuild process.
Okay, so he's probably not gonna want to give up
Yeah,
Brian
he
Thomas
said,
Jr. Then I'm guessing
oh, okay, right.
that would be
He
my
said he's
guess.
willing to listen to offers for Allen as well, and but he'd kind of expect a haul for it. So like, I'm willing to overpay for it, but I guess I'm curious about your thoughts about like really overpaying for and this is a one QB league. Sorry, I don't think I mentioned that, but
Oh, it's a
um
one QB league.
yes, sorry.
Oh, that
So
does
like
change things then.
I'm willing to really overpay for a top three stud in a position, but and I guess I'm curious about your thoughts of how much to
Yeah.
overpay in an Empire League format.
Okay. Well, in this case, then this does change things a little bit for me because obviously Josh Allen loses a little bit of value compared to what he would be worth in a super flex league, but he is still a very valuable asset, even in one QB, just the positional advantage that you would get there. So if it were, you would be getting Josh Allen, giving up Hawkinson, Dak, Warren, a first and second. That's pretty close then. I think that's a pretty good fair deal if it's a one QB league. I think yeah, so I think if Brian Thomas was removed, like I think that would be a pretty good deal because even just Dak, a first and a second, is going to get you pretty close. Then you add in TJ Hawkinson, which obviously he's out right now, but eventually he's going to be worth a pretty penny. And then the Warren is really just kind of a throw in. But if he has Najee or if he whatever likes him as a player, cool.
And he's kind of light
But
at running back.
okay, yeah, cool. Like that's great. Like that, it just doesn't move the needle much for me.
Right.
But I think Hawkinson, Dak, first and a second for Allen in a one QB league is a very fair deal. So I would be willing to do that if I were you. I don't know how much more I could give if I'm not getting Brian Thomas back. I don't know how much more I could give than that though. Like that's close to the top of what I'd be willing to give.
The league format doesn't move the needle on that at all for you.
It does help. It obviously helps. And I'm willing to overpay for top tier assets, but Josh Allen goes from being a first round pick in Superflex to his value being more like a third, fourth round pick in a startup. So he kind of loses a little bit of that elite status with the change of format.
Yeah. Yeah. And then on top of that, basically just leaves me with Kyle Pitts at tight end.
Yeah, which I mean, right now that's basically what you had anyway because Hawkinson's not there.
Right.
But yeah, I think you could also easily go out and get yourself a Colby Parkinson to help back him up, or what? Like there are guys that you can get, like even Cole Kmet, like right now, like is he exciting? No, but could he get you 8 points? On a week where Pitts is out or something? Yeah, he could do that. So, basically, right now, tight end is either you've got an elite guy or you're just chasing points on a streamer, basically. So
Great. Well, thanks for
yeah,
the advice.
absolutely, dude. Not a problem. All right. I'm going to Mac was the brave soul to be willing to hop in, talk about a trade deal. It's that easy, guys. All you got to do is click the link. I'll bring you back up and we'll discuss this stuff. Gabe says, not a dynasty league, but I'm seeking some help. Do I trade Jordan Mason for Drake London and Justice Hill? So in a redraft league, obviously Mason has quite a bit of value, but you're going to be losing some of that value when CMC comes back, assuming he does. I think he's going to be coming back. I know the Achilles thing is a little bit scary, but he goes back to just being a super high end handcuffed after that point. So I would say I'm willing to take that risk that Drake London is much more than what we saw week 1. So, all right, Andy. So Andy's backstage. Oh, here we go. He's there. There we go. Andy, how's it going, my man?
Not bad. How about you?
I'm doing good, buddy. What's your question or topic that you're wanting to discuss?
So I kind of had a fun one. Anyone who follows the Dynasty Nerds podcast or know what this is like, the likely-o-meter.
Yeah.
How likely do you think it is that we're talking about Romo Dooms in the same sentence as JSN, with having very similar team outlooks with 2 established vets, slow start? I mean, Caleb is Caleb, but Geno was kind of the same thing when he first started. Slow start, and then he kind of became what he was this past year and a half. So I keep having it in the back of my head of if anyone's really banking on him for the next year and a half, possibly even 2 if Keenan is back next year, it might be a long window to try to buy it, where you might need to just wait another half a year, and then you might be able to get him at a pretty good discount.
I'm 100% with you. I remember this offseason we were talking about that as a possibility where he could be on the unfortunate JSN track where there's just not enough footballs to go around for him. So I would say the likely-o-meter on that, we've got a wide receiver, so it's wide open. So I can give any number I want to. So I would say this is probably a 7.82. I think it's fairly high that this ends up being the track where really talented player, you see the potential breakout there, but it's just really crowded with some other good players as well.
All right. Yeah, that was just my big one.
Awesome, Andy. Well, thanks for hopping in, man.
Yeah, no problem. Have me.
All right, we'll see you. All right. Thanks to Andy for coming on up. Yeah. This rookie class. So we were talking about this rookie class a little bit before we got people up, and of course, more people are welcome to hop in. It's kind of like a call-in show, like you would do for radio, a call-in show. But with this rookie class right now, like I am a little bit worried about Bo Nix. I know there was a lot of hype going into the season about him, and my co-host Matt, I didn't want to be too harsh because I know he's a Knicks guy. He's Team Knicks, but I did not like what I saw at all. Like, I am willing to overreact on Bo Nix. Like, if I have a Bo Nix share, I am selling as fast as I possibly can. Can I get Michael Penix straight up? Just give me Michael Penix to do it all day. Can I get a high-end second in this next year's class? Can I get, I'm willing to even maybe lose a little bit of value from what was there before or where he's currently being evaluated. When you have 42 pass attempts, 42, and you're not able to eclipse 140 yards, like that's really, really concerning for me. Really concerning for me. And it's not like we're talking about them going up against a juggernaut defense. Seattle's fine, but we're not talking about the 85 Bears that they're going up against. They're not going up against the 2001 Baltimore Ravens. They're not even going up. They weren't even going up against this year's Cowboys or Browns or, like one of these defenses we consider tippy top tier. Like, it was Seattle, a very middle of the road defense. That's concerning to me. That's worrisome to me. And it's not like he doesn't have, well, let me take it back. Part of the concern is that he doesn't have weapons. Like, Cortland Sutton is not a number one right now in the NFL. As much as I love Javonte, he doesn't look like the Javonte pre-injury. The offensive line is not great. And I just don't think this is all going to come together. And so, yes, I sound like a hater. And look, I'm sure he's a fantastic kid. I'm sure he is. But we have to make these decisions for fantasy football. And right now, I just don't see a path for him to be a successful NFL quarterback and in turn, a successful fantasy football quarterback. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm reacting too quickly. I need to give him a few more weeks. What are your thoughts? Am I deciding too quickly? Am I too quick to judgment with this being only week one? I should give him more time. Or are you with me in saying, look, the writing is on the wall and I don't feel good about it? Unkindness saying Nix or Levis. Ooh. I mean, I don't feel great about Levis either, but I would probably take him. But I don't feel great about him. I don't feel great about him. Bryce Young. Bryce Young showed a lot of the same concerns that we had last year. Yeah, both feel gross. You're absolutely right. Jordan says, what are people in 12-team Superflex competing with strong quarterback rooms? They have Sam Darnold as their quarterback 4. Doesn't seem like much interest in him, not even getting bites as bridge QB prices. Maybe trade a higher ranking quarterback and actually use Darnold this year. I would have no problem with Darnold being my QB3 for the season. Obviously, long term, you want a better quarterback than him. But if you could use some help elsewhere as a contending team and your QB3 can get you a wide receiver 2, might be worth it. And then just make Darnold your quarterback 3. Because I think he's going to be good enough for this season to be able to get the job done. Long term, you're going to want somebody else. It's not going to be your long-term solution. But if that's what helps you win a ship, moving on from your quarterback 3, then move on from your quarterback 3. I have no problem doing that to help me win. Hung says he thinks I'm being a little rash. Rookie QBs will struggle. Look at Caleb versus the Titans, 29 for 39 yards with great weapons. Yeah, look, he did not have a great game either. The difference for me is I'm biased. That's the difference. But like watching their tape, there were a lot of things that I thought translated to the NFL that he just didn't do in game 1. With Bo Nix, this is exactly who he was. He was a check down Tommy. Like he was consistently like he did not throw the ball down the field at a consistent rate. He was constantly looking for check downs, slants, underneath routes, screens, so many screens in that Oregon offense. And I think that's what's going to continue to happen here. Whereas Caleb, I just don't think he was able to do the things that we seen him do. Nix just continued to do what we always saw him do. He didn't take a next step. And so that's what worries me for Nix. But you're right. I could be too soon on this. Maybe I need to give it a few more weeks. But the tricky part about giving it a few more weeks is by then everyone, if he's still bad, will come to the same conclusion. And now you can't sell him. Jordan says, who do you prefer, Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts? For me, it's Josh Allen. Hurts looks good. He had a good game. I like the new offense. Saquon, I think, is going to be great for him. But it's like Josh Allen, and he's that guy until he's not. Like, I can't put anyone there in his spot until somebody consistently proves it. And Josh Allen's been QB1 3 of the past 4 seasons. So I'd have a hard time moving on from Josh Allen. Thoughts on Marvin Harrison Jr.'s low grade? Well, real quick, Birdman said Caleb did not need to do much. That's true. He did, and at the end of the day, he did get the W. And for NFL, that's why. Like, that's what you need to do. You would hope that you are a contributing factor to that W. But going back to YWL, thoughts on Marvin Harrison Jr.'s low PFF grade? It was a weird game. I know stuff has been said about his speed score or his miles per hour, 16.9, which would be like a little faster than I can run. Like, is he slow? He's not. Like, he was measured in college going over 22 miles an hour. He's not slow. Is it weird? Yes, it's weird. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't have a good answer as to what happened, why it happened. I don't know. But if this is your opportunity to be able to come in and buy, like, I'm absolutely buying. Everything I saw on tape, the pedigree, the upside, the school, the production, like, everything lines up. I'll say this. If he does not hit to some, like, I'm not saying he has to be wide receiver 1 every year, but if he is not at minimum a perennial contender as a top 12 wide receiver in the league, he'll go down as one of the biggest busts of all time, because in his profile, there's nothing that I can see that gives me any pause. Jordan said, by the way, I take back my Super Bowl prediction from last week. No way Atlanta makes it. That offense looked bad in week 1. The defense looked pretty good. That offense looked bad in week 1. Yeah, that one was not ideal. Not ideal. All right. As we start to wrap up here, I'll give opportunity for one more person. If one more person wants to hop in, ask their question about what they would like to see. Oh, also, many of you I know are in a redraft league with me. Jabril, I did not get your question. I did not see a DM from you yesterday for some reason. I don't know why. Let me look right now. Like, I don't have one. Maybe I need to see. Maybe there's a request that I don't see. Here we go. It's because I have to accept you. So my apologies there. So Jabril, I accepted it just now. I will make sure to get back to you soon, my man. Sorry about that. Let's see. Not sure I said on the call, but in our league, if you win twice in a row, the league resets and we do a startup draft. Ooh, that's fun. So Empire even to another level. Bo Nix as your NFL quarterback or Tyson Badgett? Point is, there's a bunch of backup QBs I'd rather have in the starting role in Denver other than Nix. I think that's fair, Johnny. I think that's absolutely fair. Last thing I want to say, I know that there are some of you out there that are in the best ball redraft league with me. And we put out a little poll week 1. Which team is going to win it? Your boy got 0 votes. 0. It's my league. Didn't matter. Nobody voted for me. Nobody liked my team. All I want to say is 1-0. 1-0, baby. Actually, for you guys, 1-0. Yeah, 1-0, baby. Coming for that ship. coming for that ship. All right, guys, appreciate you. Thank you once again for hanging out with us here on the Dynasty lunch break. We will be back. If you are not a part of the Nerd Herd, we do this on Wednesdays as well. And every other week, one Wednesday, we're breaking down tape. So I'm talking about what I'm seeing on tape, talking about players in the college game that I'm liking and whatnot. Opposite week, get a chance to talk to some of our writers, some of the cool things they're writing about, all that kind of stuff. So if you want an additional one of these every week, boosted with content, make sure to join the Nerd Herd. Appreciate you guys. We will see you next week.